Mark Stark Live. As you can see, we're trying different... Today we're in the corporate conference room. We have our nice little logo behind us as well. So what we'd like to... We've been in three... This is our third different setup. Give us a little comments about the setups, which ones you like best, and we'll consider those as well, too. Mark, you want to get us started off with all the goodies?
Sure. I've got some, I think, really interesting and powerful stuff to share today. And look forward to any questions as we get to the end here. Here's what I want to talk about today, and ultimately communication. And here's the context that I want to talk about. You know, it's valid in any type of scenario, and it doesn't have to be a crisis like we're dealing with today, that people have questions. People may have concerns. Here's the question I want to pose for you today that we're going to talk about is, are you equipped with quality responses to people's questions and concerns? I mean, if we're looked at as the professional, as the expert, it probably makes sense that we should have a response to their questions. Now remember, responses don't always have to say, I know the exact answer. Sometimes we have to do our homework. So what we're really talking about here is, for you, when you're asked a question, what is the most valuable response? Even if it is, that's a great question. Let me do some homework and get back to you. So I want to share a couple ideas about that. Before I jump in, anything more on that?
No. I think digging deep, tell me more about that. And then usually when you ask a question, the answer they give you allows you to ask a few more open-ended questions. So I agree, dig deep.
Yeah, and to that point, please don't feel that you can't be inquisitive. That's what, think, feel, know is all about. Okay, remember the system, how you're asking that question, throwing it back so you can learn more. Okay. In my opinion, you're more professional when you're really going deeper and asking more key questions so you know what you're talking about. All right, so just in general, and I know there's more than this, let me throw out just some questions that might come up. Do you ever think someone might be asking about listing their property during the coronavirus? So they have questions about listing their property, possibly concerns. How about showing the property during the coronavirus? How about buying a property during the coronavirus? Looking at property during the same time, okay? How about this? What will happen to prices in the near future and outer future? You know what? These are valid questions. And last but not least, I love this one. Is it a good time right now to invest in real estate? All right, is it? So these are quality questions. I mean, they're in some cases obvious questions. So what we need to talk about here today is, how do you best orchestrate and communicate to individuals? So let me give you some rules of thumb that I think will be very helpful. First rule of thumb, you have to be in a position to share options. All right? When they ask you a question, and is this a good time, or should I be listing my property today in this market? You've got to give them options. Well, let me go through some of the options of what we're doing to effectively market property today. Any more?
Yeah, and someone asked me on my coaching this morning that same question, and I said, they go, what would you say next? And I would say, okay, so you're thinking of selling right now, that's great. When you sell, where are you going? Because for some people, I mean, like we were talking about earlier, it may make sense to wait. For some people, it may not. So until you know the whole story, it's tough to give them advice.
That was so powerful what Rick just went over there. Think about it. There's not one answer for everybody, and there's not one need or want from everybody. But what he just said right there is so powerful, because you're okay no matter which direction they go. We just need to find out which direction that is. So know your options. Give them options so they can choose which direction works best for them.
Absolutely.
Fully understand the resources that you have available in your toolbox. When we first talk about, doing virtual showings, all right, are you up to speed in all the tools that you have at the organization and overall in technology that you can use and other professionals are using within our organization to communicate effectively when it comes to showing properties virtually? And if you're not up to speed on that, you need to go to leadership. You need to come to marketing and ask and say, I really want to understand. Listen, I know Maria Hill, our VP of marketing, has been doing numerous webinars on this concept. The question is are you up to speed on it? And if you're not, now's the time.
Also, Maria is my interview on Monday for my podcast at 8 o'clock. So I call her the queen of marketing.
Yes. Well, I appreciate that. And we are here to give you the information, but you've got to take that initial step and go, I want to learn and I need to be able to answer these questions.
I just want to, and I think I interviewed Dan Mum. We were doing it live twice a week, but what he said makes such a good point. He said, this is the time where it's like the golden rule meets real estate. Because when you check in with people, you'll be checking in, how are they doing? And then if you walk them down the road and dig deep to their ultimate motivation, then you can give them, and if you tell somebody right now, you know what, if I was you, I'd wait. You have a customer for life, and then we give you referrals until take in consideration what's most important to them and give them advice based on what's going on.
To that, I heard a quote recently, and I honestly don't remember where I heard it, but it stuck with me, just in my mind, the quote itself, and that is, would you rather be right or would you rather be kind? And the caption is, always choose kind because then you're always right. And that was really powerful because you can't go wrong with being kind and following that golden rule. So
kind of like, would you rather be right or happy in your marriage?
Yeah, well, I've learned that always goes with happy, and the right never comes.
I've learned I'm always wrong, which makes sure I'm always right.
Exactly. That works well too. Yeah. All right, I know I'm a broken record on this next one, but the number 3 rule of thumb is build trust, because that's important, with facts, not opinion. Look, guys, you may be right on point with what you want to share, but start with facts. You know the beautiful thing about facts is as we go through this very, a challenging time right now, and let's face it, we don't know certain timings, we don't know how certain things will go in the future, there's a ton of questions. But guess what? When you share facts on a consistent basis, you're always giving the right information for that moment in time. And if it changes over time, beautiful. You're sharing those changes over time. Start with facts, less opinion, and guess what? Questions will come up on the facts you're sharing, and then you can answer those questions. And again, it's always a great opportunity to go, that's a great question. I'm going to continue sending you weekly updates, and I think over time we'll be able to answer that question, a matter of fact, because we'll have the facts to back it up.
And I totally agree with that. That's a very powerful statement. And also that remember this, and this is ultimately the way it works. They don't want to work with you if they feel like they know more than you. So when you give them stats like in Las Vegas, about 25% of the market came off as far as active listings, another 25% you can't show. So if I'm a seller and I want to sell and my time frame is consistent with now, it's a good time now because I have less competition. So these are things, when you tell them these things that they don't know, they automatically trust you more because obviously you've done your homework.
Yeah, you've done your homework, and ultimately you're asking and you're figuring out what information do they actually need and want to make the best decision for them and their family going forward. And facts helps all of us make the best decision. And by the way, you don't put your butt on the line with making just an off-the-cuff comment, even though you're trying to do it from your heart, in your mind, and trying to be professional, you miss, and now you look less quality. Why? Because you were totally wrong. And you know what? That's why facts always protect us better. Number 4, get clear with their specific wants and needs. We touched on this on answering questions, but please go deep enough. Remember, again, I'm going to be a broken record on this one too. Think, feel, know. You know what? When you're in think mode and you just ask them that initial question and they answer it, you're not getting the most accurate information. Throw that back to them a couple times saying, tell me more about that. I want to learn more about that. That's interesting. Tell me more about that. And to Rick's earlier statement, the more you go up and back with these questions, the more you'll learn and the more real and authentic their answers become.
Yeah, and I think, whenever I think of that, what Mark just went through, I always think of your doctor. The 2 things your doctor always does is dig deep, dig deep, dig deep, dig deep. And then the other thing he never or she never does is talk about themselves. It's always about you. So when you're in with people, if you keep it like that, now listen, if they ask me about me, I'll tell them. But here's what I figured out in 35 years of doing this. They don't often do that because their most concern is them and their family, and it should be that way.
Oh my God, that's awesome. You know, I think about, when you just went over that, I think about how frustrated I get filling out all those documents every time I go to the doctor.
Yeah.
But guess what? Before they can do anything, they need all my information. And guess what? That works very effectively.
Yeah, could you imagine if your doctor goes, last time I had that, and he tells you a personal story? They never do that.
That is very true.
Yeah.
All right, 2 more rules of thumb. Next, stay focused on solutions. Stay focused on solutions. That's one of the main reasons they're hiring you. Regardless of environment, regardless of challenge, you know what? You're the professional. You're great at what you do. You know what? How are you going to figure this out? In the time at the end when I'm sharing my good news stories, I have a couple here that just bring this point out big time. And last but not least, and very important, be effective at managing your personal limiting beliefs. The biggest trap we can fall into is, let me tell you what's going to happen to this market. Let me tell you how this is going to work. And the more we do that, all right, the more we narrow our way of thinking, and we really increase the opportunity for us to miss good information.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think being just being the person of support and dig deep and so forth is way better, because like you said, you can back yourself into a corner if you're wrong, and who knows what's going to happen right now.
True. All right, so this last concept on being effective at communicating. And this is big. And this question I'm going to ask to all of you. And I want you to give it a lot of thought. And you may just automatically say yes, but I want you to think about it, because if the answer is truly yes, that's powerful. If it isn't, that's challenging. And here's the question. Do you truly believe in the value of the services that you and your company provide? Guys, you know, when I hear, well, I'm kind of uncomfortable, should I prospect during this time? Is it wrong or right? You know why? Because that question, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to anyone, okay, because I understand the question, but here's what you're forgetting. If you really, truly, in a big way, believe that what you are offering is so important, all right, for people to have, and the information and your services, my God, you have no choice but to reach out. It's almost a moral certainty that you have to reach out to help them, because they're going to be in a lesser position without you on their side. So when you really believe in what you do, that you know thoroughly, oh my God, and I don't mean this from an ego standpoint, but I care so much. I'm so on solutions to figure out what they're trying to do, and I really will do a great job for them. Guess what? They are in such better shape if I can reach out to them, connect with them, and help them with any real estate.
And they definitely feel that too. I notice in my career, when I have a little rule, and my rule is I do 50% or less of the talking in any selling or coaching situation. Now, I didn't start off that way, and I get myself in trouble because I started young. That was my excuse. But really, it's incredibly important that you ask and let them talk a lot.
Yeah, it's so true. And hey, listen, some questions, again, along these lines that you got to ask yourself is, what sets you apart? What really sets you apart?
Yeah.
If you feel like you're like all realtors, or and they can use anybody, that's a mistake. What sets you apart? What do you do differently?
They can feel that too.
Of course they can feel it. I mean, it comes down to, why are they better off working with you? All right, in a big way. Do you? This is a little bit different, but I want to bring this point out. Do you believe in the request that your clients are making is valid? What I mean by that is this. We all can deal with clients that during a time like this, or really any time, they get caught up in thinking, you know what? I can buy real estate now for 30% under market because of what's going on. So you get clients that get narrow-minded and saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to buy a house, but I want to put in all these low-ball offers. If you don't believe in what the client is asking you to do, then you got to be honest. And don't go down that road, because if you don't believe that, you can't be the best you can be, and you certainly can't service them. I'd rather see you use the facts of record and show them what's going on in pricing and saying, look at, you know, Mark, I know you want to buy a property under market. I guess I understand totally why, but let me show you the pricing. And guess what? If that opportunity arises, I'm in to help you. But if it doesn't, at least you'll have the facts of record to back it up. And then last but not least, please, we all have roadblocks and we all have challenges that we're dealing with in our own business, in our lives, and certainly in managing clients. What clients really want is the person who doesn't see the roadblock but starts figuring out a way to get around it or over it to achieve their goals. Communicating to clients in every way, shape, or form, okay, is a powerful tool, and it starts with you.
Yeah, and I think that anything that all of us know where we need to get a little bit better, whether it's our CRM, whether it's conversing with people, the scripts, my presentation, and I'll tell you that, and a lot of people think, well, some people are naturally gifted salespeople. You should all read or listen to a book called The Talent Code. It's on YouTube for free. I just finished it this morning. Incredible. It really walks you through what's important to be a professional and great at what you do.
I love it. All right, let's do some feel-good stories here. Out of our La Quinta office, California, David Burke represented a seller, okay, early on in the shelter at home, all right, communicated daily, because this escrow was not easy. Buyers and sellers were a little concerned of what was going on. Seller was even thinking about, maybe it's not the best time to do it. They were communicating daily, working together with the other agent, all right? And they not only closed the escrow within 30 days, but what's other kicker about it is the seller in this change, wasn't agreed upon at first, needed a 90-day or more rent back, and that's what they put together. Communicating through it, all right, got everyone comfortable, and even threw in a rent back so the sellers can say, okay, we can stay here until we find something. All right, out of our St. Rose office, out of Nevada, here's just a few things that different agents are doing. Jennifer Breeden, during Easter time, had over 400 Easter pictures and candy delivered to low-income seniors.
Wow.
Okay, awesome. Alberto Saab went out and got puzzles, okay, to his clients that had kids and family so they can play more games, family games and activities at home. Delinda Crampton, love this one. Yep, went out there and did toilet paper pop buys. That's right, I will say it again, toilet paper pop buys.
The Brian Buffini Popeyes.
There you go, there you go. Wrapped him in a ribbon and said break in case of emergency. So I love that one, that was really good. Sky Archuleta Perea, all right, out of Las Vegas, Nevada, delivered movie baskets, popcorn, and candy, because as we're at home watching movies, got to have our, big drink and big popcorn and the candy. So that was a beautiful, all great, super ideas. Few more here, out of our Lake Elsinore office. Eva Romelia, her first listing she just took, okay, this last week, and she was ready, booties, glove, mask, all right, and even had documents. So this is someone new to our business, even had her documents ready, that if the buyers were not prepared, guess what? Eva was prepared to deal with that transaction. Love it. Oh, by the way, already getting offers on that property. Woohoo! Congrats. Okay, out of our Scottsdale office, Elise Sala. Okay, new listing in Fountain Hills. See, is there business out there? Another new listing in Fountain Hills. 3 offers after being active only 6 days. By the way, 2 of those offers at full price. So we talk about our prices hanging in there. Clearly, when we look at the facts, they're hanging in. Out of our Palm Desert office, Carmen Moore. Okay, love this one. Family needed a rental. She found them a rental. They were paying a little bit over $2,000 a month to rent. However, they really appreciated her support and just let her know they would like her support or referral to find a $2 million hotel. You just never know. Okay, you never know. Linda Kroll, okay, also out of our Palm Desert office, new buyer she got from our Berkshire Hathaway website, which saw one of her listings, and they're working with her right now virtually to buy a $600,000 property in Palm Desert. Woohoo! A few more. We're getting so many. We're getting so many, and I love it. Keep them coming. I wanted to get through a bunch. In Scottsdale, out of Arizona, Serena Bergman. You know what? She took this Zoom type meetings very seriously. She started with some family and some happy hours, which were fun. Well, guess what? She's taken it to the next level and doing Zoom coffee meetings on Friday mornings. First one, she had a lender. She had 14 attendees, okay, and it lasted 35 minutes. Incredible information, incredible questions coming from the public to the lender she brought to the table. Great job, Serena. And one more, okay, Chris Lamory, love this one. This is powerful. This is out of our Menifee office. Got a call, okay, for a listing presentation. However, they were upfront. We're going to interview 3 agents, okay, for the job. Well, they did interview 3 agents. One offering 5%, one offering 6%, and one offering 7% with the most amount of marketing efforts within the presentation. It was a 2-hour presentation, and let's all congratulate Chris because he got it. And by the way, yes, the consumer was willing to pay him 7% because he had the best presentation and will do the best job. All right, God, keep those feel-good stories coming. They're powerful, and they tell everyone in the organization. And guess what? We have a lot of people watching on Facebook Live, learning out even outside of Berkshire Hathaway and hearing the kind of stuff that's happening. That's a beautiful thing. Let me conclude by saying this. We have a contest company-wide going on with some fun prizes. Please, let's keep the excitement going on the contest. I just have to say this, out of our La Quinta office, one of the sales executives already has more than 400 points. Woo! Okay?
No names mentioned.
Talking about rockin' and rollin', that's right. It's open for everyone to win. May 13th, we'll be here soon. Get to it. Enjoy the virtual contest. We appreciate everyone's time today. Have a great week, everybody. Woohoo! Bye-bye.